Hello and happy Sunday, and welcome to this week's edition and this Sunday edition of Total New Hampshire for November 2nd, 2025. Let's begin. We got a lot of political news to talk about on this week's edition of Total New Hampshire, so let's get started right now. First up, New Hampshire House renews push for cannabis legalization despite political roadblocks. The New Hampshire House is once again advocating efforts to legalize recreational marijuana, even as the state Senate and governor remain firmly opposed. A newly revised legalization proposal cleared the House Commerce Committee on Tuesday, setting up for a full House vote that could occur early next year. Supporters say lawmakers must continue pressing the issue despite repeated setbacks. This is an issue most people in New Hampshire support, and if we don't keep talking about it, the people of New Hampshire are never going to get what they want, said Rep. Jared Sullivan, a Democrat from Bethlehem. House Bill 186 would legalize cannabis use for adults 21 and older and allow limited home cultivations. Public consumption would remain prohibited and treated as a violation level offense. Under the proposal, cannabis sale would fall under the state's existing rooms and meals tax, generating an estimated 27 million annually. The bill also removes strict licensing caps for prospective cannabis businesses, a major point of contention during last year's legislative efforts. It would allow people who want to open one of the one to be able to open one without having to worry about a cap on licenses, which was a big conversation back in 2024, Sullivan said. While lawmakers saw a possible path forward last year, some now argue the political climate has shifted sharply against legislation. The decision over, said Rep. John Patrick, Republican of Derry. The Senate said no. The governor says no. Governor Kelly Ayotte has reportedly expressed firm opposition to recon- recreational legalization, even though who supported advancing the bill acknowledge the uphill battle ahead. I supported the bill, but I have no illusions that this is ever going to become law, said Rep. John Hunt, a Republican from Ringe. We will have to wait and see if it happens next year. Executive Council backs emergency food assistance plan aimed federal SNAP funding halt. New Hampshire is moving to support residents who rely on Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, as federal benefits remain frozen during the ongoing government shutdown. On Wednesday, the Executive Council unanimously approved Governor Kelly Ayotte's proposal to partner with New Hampshire Food Bank's mobile pantry system to deliver assistance to affected households. The state will direct $2 million toward expanding mobile food distribution for SNAP recipients. The move comes after the Trump administration announced it would not draw from a previously authorized continuance fund to continue SNAP payments during the shutdown, a decision Democrats argue conducts the fund's intended purpose. New Hampshire typically receives more than 12 million in monthly federal SNAP support, helping nearly 75,000 households statewide to purchase groceries. State officials estimate it will take approximately 1 week to fully activate the emergency distribution program. New Hampshire GOP Senate candidates break with Trump on filibuster elimination. New Hampshire's Republican U.S. Senate candidates are distancing themselves from President Donald Trump's call to abolish the Senate filibuster as a way to end the ongoing government shutdown. In a recent social media post, Trump urged Senate Republicans to invoke the so-called nuclear option, a move that would eliminate 60 vote threshold, allowing legislation to pass a simple majority and bypass Democrat resistance. But former U.S. Senator John E. Sununu and Scott Brown, both seeking the GOP nomination, say they oppose dismantling the long-standing Senate rule. The filibuster is an incredibly important tool to force the Senate to get through problems done and to have some bipartisanship on the toughest issues, Sununu said. And here's the most important reason I don't want to get rid of the filibuster. When we have a Democratic House and a Democratic session, the Democratic president, what would be Joe Biden have done with that? It would have wrecked the country. Brown echoed the concern about future political shifts. I like the president. I like a lot of what he's doing. Brown said, but I've always told him that I would give him my opinion on a whole host of things. But no, I believe the filibuster is what separates us from the House. If we do that now, what if the Democrats are in charge in 2018? The presidency, the House of Senate, they will eliminate the filibuster for good. They'll stack the Supreme Court, and then they'll take the territories like DC and Puerto Rico and make them states. Despite Trump's campaign to reshape the Senate rules, New Hampshire's leading Republican contenders appear united in preserving the dual safeguards, even aimed sharp partisan conflict in Washington. And that does it for this Sunday edition of Total New Hampshire. Thank you for tuning in and watching this Sunday edition of Total New Hampshire right here on WRMK News 12. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I'll see you back here next Sunday for another edition of Total New Hampshire. Bye.